This special council meeting to order. Mary Jo, can you please call the roll?
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Barb Politsky.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Here.
Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Mary Belbeer.
Here.
Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we've called this special council meeting to discuss matters of personnel, and that is the council vacancy. So at this time, we will have the public session. If anyone in the audience is in to say for the good and well for the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes or fewer. It can only pertain to the item on the agenda this evening. No one? Okay. Council will be going into executive session to discuss this vacancy. The plan is to go into executive session, have our discussion, then hopefully when we come back out, we'll be able to have a consensus candidate and be able to appoint that person this evening. That is the plan.
Move to go into executive session for matters of personnel relating to the council vacancy.
Second.
To adjourn to executive session. Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politsky.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Executive session. And so we did come to a consensus. And at this time, I would like to nominate Meg Ryan Shockey for the vacant council position.
For Meg Ryan Shockey, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politsky.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
First, I'd like to just make a comment explaining my vote. With each vacancy since I've been on council, I take an objective look at all the applicants, look at their professional background, experience, involvement in our community, and basically what they bring to the table. And I'm always looking for who's going to bring the most to benefit council and the community. And I am going to vote no, not because I have anything personal against anybody, but there were a couple other candidates, in my opinion, that brought a little bit more to the table. So I'm going to vote no. Thank you.
Mary Belbeer.
I am going to have to express the same sentiments as Kathy. I have nothing against anyone. It's just how it was. But I'm going to have to vote no also.
Okay, that concludes our agenda. Meg Ryan Shockey will be the appointee to council. And that is all we have on our agenda. So,
When you want to do that? After? Okay.
So I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
To adjourn. Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politsky.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Finance committee will begin in
Now.
about 2 minutes. Yeah, and then regular council meeting will be at 7 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. At this time, I would like to call the Brooklyn City Council meeting for January 8th to order. Mary Jo, can you please call the roll?
Barb Politsky.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Here.
Meg Shockey. Is that how you want it to go? Ryan Shockey. Meg Ryan Shockey. Here. Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Mary Belbeer.
Here.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. It was my privilege this past week to take part in a rather lengthy interview process, almost 3.5 hours, for the vacant council seat just this last week. I would like to thank Michael Changari, Sue Grodick, Deb Tomusco, Mark Buxar, Lynn McMahon, and Meg Ryan Shockey for applying for this seat. All of you came from different backgrounds and have different perceptions and ideas on how to make Brooklyn a better place. While we could only choose one candidate, I found the interviews enlightening, and I hope that all of you stay engaged in the city of Brooklyn. I would also like to officially welcome Mrs. Ryan Shockey to City Council. I've enjoyed getting to know Mrs. Shockey over the past several months and look forward to working with you for the city of Brooklyn. The charter states that council is to organize in January. And per council rules, now that the council is complete, it is practical to hold an organizational meeting, and we plan to hold that meeting this Thursday, January 11th at 6 p.m. At this meeting, we will elect a council president and pro tem. We will also elect council members to serve on the Planning Commission, the Recreation Board, the Domestic Violence Commission, and Economic Development Committee. After the council president is appointed and the pro tem is appointed, the council president will then appoint members to the Finance Committee, the Public Works Committee, the Public Safety and Environmental Committee, the Sustainability Committee, Legislative Update, Fair Housing Review Board, School Board Liaison, and the Volunteer Fire Dependents Board. So, Mrs. Ryan Shockey, welcome. Glad to have you on board. At this time, we will have the public session. If anyone in the audience has anything to say for the good and welfare of the City of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and address, and you'll be recognized. Please remember to keep your comments to 5 minutes or fewer.
Good evening, everyone. Victor Ardito, 7439 Outlook Avenue. I'd like to say I got the alert the other day on the email. It was great about the water main breaks. The only question I had is I had called up to City Hall to make sure there was not a boil alert on it. I just suggest on things like that, they would add that, whether you have to boil or not. I mean, you know, the stuff I go through it all day with people on the phone and, you know, well, does it mean this? Well, yeah, of course. You know, it's hard to take things for granted, and our attorney there could tell you that for sure. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Edith. Anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the City of Brooklyn?
Hi, my name is Mike Changari. I live at 8705 Morton Avenue in the proud city and great city of Brooklyn. So I want to say congratulations to Ms. Shockey, and a very humble surprise in the calendar. And I don't know who put this together, but I wanted to say thank you very much. My dad made it in June, so I just was very honored and surprised, because the first calendar we got was destroyed by the rain, and I didn't get a chance to look through all the pages. So whoever, the mayor and the council, got to decide who was in June or May, thank you so much. It's a big honor for my dad, and I know he's probably looking down on us right now. Second thing was, I wanted to thank the service department. I did sign my mom up for the Snow Watch program, and they did a phenomenal job plowing her driveway when it was over 6 inches of snow, because I couldn't get over there to help. So it is a good service, and it's worth the $40 and then the $15 I had to pay for a penalty. But that one time it made her able to leave her home when I couldn't get there. So thank you for that service. And also, it was a privilege to be interviewed. Maybe somewhere down the line there'll be room somewhere in the city administration for a guy like me. But I know you guys have to pick the most qualified and what you're looking for in a council member. But I'm always here. I'm going to try and make it more to the meetings, just to be a familiar face to support those that are looking out for the best interest of the city. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Changari. And your dad is missed. Every time I drive there, the corner of Bidoff and Ridge, I miss not seeing him there. Anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the City of Brooklyn?
Good evening, Patrick Sweeney, 8919 Torrance Avenue. Just want to say the service department did a good job this morning with the roads, especially after I got into Cleveland. I noticed a difference. So very bad conditions this morning. Other than that, everybody have a good New Year's.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? Okay. At this time then, we'll move on with reports of committees, commissions, and boards. And since council is not organized yet, we do not have a council person on the Planning Commission. So at this time, Mr. Kalsar is going to give both the Board of Zoning Appeals report and the Planning Commission report. Mr. Kalsar?
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. The Planning Commission met this past Thursday, January 4th, and they heard a request from Mario Rashad for an illuminated wall sign. This is for a Boost Mobile store, in Bidoff Plaza, 7006 Bidoff Road, and that was approved. The next request was from MS Consultants. This is for an addition to the Aldi's grocery store. They're going to be building a 3,300 square foot addition onto that building, and that application was also approved. I don't have the next scheduled Planning Commission meeting, but it will be the first Thursday in February. And then up next is the Board of Zoning Appeals, and they will be meeting Thursday, January 18th, and we'll be hearing a request from Mario Rached for a 6-foot variance to the maximum allowable size for a wall sign at 7006 Bidoff Road, the same side that the sign that the Planning Commission had just approved. And this will be at 6 o'clock here in the City Hall Conference Room. All are welcome to attend. Thank you.
And Mr. Carlson, that date is February the 1st, is the date for that Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you.
There you go.
That agenda hasn't been determined yet, but that is the next
What do you got there, February 1st? Okay, we'll now move on with Finance Committee. We did meet this evening prior to our council meeting at 6:30 in the conference room. We have 4 requests that are on the agenda this evening. The first one is a request from Maria McGinty, who's our rec manager, to apply for state capital money to partially fund the proposed 2018 capital improvements to the Recreation Center. We're going to be doing several things out there at the Recreation Center this year. Painting, redoing the sand filters inside those, and so we're applying for funds to help offset those costs, and we hope to be able to receive grants anywhere between 1/4 and 1/3 of the total cost for those. The second one was a request from Mr. Verba to enter an agreement with the K Company for a renewal contract for refrigeration, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning at the rec center. And this renewal will be on January 15th of this year. It will run through January 14th of next year. And the total amount of that is $26,868. And that is the same cost as it has been the last 2 years. The third request comes from the Senior Center Coordinator to seek funding for a backup vehicle for the Brooklyn Senior Center. And she'll be applying, if approved, for the 2018 grant for enhanced mobility of seniors, individuals, and disabilities program. And this grant is an OACA grant, and we hope to be able to receive the full amount for a backup vehicle. And then lastly was a request from Jen O'Bannon, the program coordinator at the Rec Center, to seek a $2,500 funding for new programs and activities at the Rec Center by applying for the 2018 Ohio Parks and Recreation Association Foundation Program Development Grant. And this is just to help offset the cost for some new programs at the Rec Center. Then we discussed ordinances 2017-86 and 2017-87. They are sister ordinances. I got ahead of myself there. Ordinance 2017-86 is up for third reading and adoption this evening. And this is establishing a non-resident fee for key fob cards for use with the My Senior Center at the Rec Center. And this will be a $12 charge for non-residents for use of that key fob. And that includes the mailing of the mailings that they do there as well. Then on second reading this evening is ordinance 2017-87. Authorizing the capital improvement plan for 2018, and this authorizes the purchase of capital items that have already been appropriated for in the 2018 budget, and that is on second reading. Then ordinances 2018-1 and 2, those are the sister ordinances, and that is authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn to enter into a contract with the Northern Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Patrol and Sergeants units for 2017. And there are 3 items in this that have changed. The first is Article 22, Section 2. And this change deals with permitted use of personal days following holidays. That actually taking place has been in effect since 2011, but it was not in the actual wording of the agreement. It now is, if this is approved. Then next is Article 26, Section 1. This states that police personnel have agreed to a 0% wage increase for 2017. Then Article 31, Section 3 is additional language making an explicit resolution of a very minor grievance with an officer regarding reimbursement of meals. And that is Ordinance 2018-1, and that is for the year 2017. Then Ordinance 2018-2 is authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn to enter into a contract with Northern Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Patrol and Sergeant Unit for 2018 through 2020. And the only change from this and the previous ordinance is that police personnel have agreed to a 1.75% wage increase for 2018 and a 2% wage increase for both 2019 and 2020. We do anticipate going into executive session this evening to discuss this. And that is all that we dealt with. Oh, excuse me, one more item we talked about this evening was ordinance 2018-3, and this is establishing the full-time position of the clerk of council. And this came out of the Charter Review Committee and was then passed by the voters. And this establishes this position. And council's authority on this is the finance director will make the appointment, and then council basically has veto power if we object to that appointment. And there's still to be some items we discussed on that, but that is on first reading this evening. We will now move on with reports of council. We begin this evening with Mr. Tansky.
Thank you, Mr. Kirk. I hope everyone had a happy holiday season. I just want to say thanks to all that applied for the vacant council seat. I would like to welcome Brooklyn's new city council members, Andy Selhertz and Meg Ryan Shockey. I look forward to working with both of you on council. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tansky. Next up is Mrs. Plitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. I also would like to wish everybody a happy new year with blessings and prosperity for all of the residents. I'd also like to thank Mr. Verba and the service department employees for their dedication. The past few weeks have been a challenge, and you have given up family time to keep our roads safe. We are so fortunate to live in Brooklyn. I'd also like to thank all the candidates for their interest in the council position. All candidates brought different qualities and diverse qualities for our consideration. It was a very, very difficult decision. But in the end, we had to make one. So I would like to welcome Meg Ryan Shockey and Mr. Andy Selhertz as new members of our city council. I'd also like to mention that the senior center is now taking reservations for the AERP income tax preparation. Last year, because AERP didn't have as many positions open, it filled up very quickly. So if you're interested, I would advise you to call very soon to the Senior Center, 216-635-4222. And I would also like to offer my condolences to all the residents, all the parishioners at St. Thomas More for the loss of Father John Uhas and Deacon Marty Thiel over this holiday season. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Ms. Plitsky. And next up is Mr. Selhertz.
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. Thank you to all the candidates came out for the council vacancy. As Ms. Plitsky mentioned, everybody brought different qualities, and the final decision was a tough decision. So we will move forward. My condolences go out to Danny and Michelle Rivera on the loss of Danny's father this past weekend. He suffered an accident and was in the hospital for a while. It's kind of like what you want to see of a family. Danny and Michelle were always at their daughter's sporting events, and so was the grandfather. And it's just a nice thing that you like to see in a community. Talking about sporting events, one of the things is if you like hockey, please go support the local hockey team. They're 11-1 for the season right now. They're 7-0 in their division, in the Blue South Division. They're playing Thursday night over across the street at the hockey rink at 7:15. Game prices are $6 for adults, $4 for seniors. They'll be playing at the Parma MLK tournament this coming weekend as well. Everybody has been talking about the service department. That was one of my focuses the 2 prior years when I was on council. Plan to meet with Mr. Verba somewhere in the very near future. Try to keep his equipment requests for the next few years up to date. He said he was already behind, but let's see what we can do to keep the roads clear. They've done an excellent job of doing that. And probably one other meeting we have this week is with Safe Routes to Schools. It was brought up by me about 2 months ago when we had a meeting with an ODOT representative about an issue that was being brought up at traffic or the students crossing at Ridge by the library. Talking to the ODOT official, we're actually going to try to bring that up within the Safe Routes plan. We're applying for a grant. And the last thing had a capability or privilege of being at a grand opening for Metro Health this past Tuesday on January 2nd at their new Parma hospital. Used to be part of HealthSpan or Kaiser. It is a mini hospital. It has only 16 rooms. It's up on the 3rd floor, but it's not for trauma or major illnesses, but it's another step of Metro Health trying to get out to the community. The rooms that they developed up in this hospital, which is close by to Brooklyn, is more advanced design from their what they developed 2 years ago when they opened up in 2016, the Critical Care Pavilion. And it's just a stepping stone or a learning process for them when they're actually going to transform the whole main campus. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Selhertz. Next up is our newest appointee, Ms. Meg Ryan Shockey.
I just wanted to say thank you to Council for giving me the opportunity to serve with you guys, and I hope that we have a great couple of years ahead. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Next up is Mrs. Pucci.
Thank you. Good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. I'm looking forward to a productive year on council. Also, welcome to Mr. Selhertz and Mrs. Ryan Shockey. I too would like to thank our safety forces and our service department who had to work over the holiday. We appreciate all your efforts in keeping both the residents and people traveling through our community safe. I'd also like to thank all the residents who took the time to make the city a little bit brighter by decorating for the holiday. There were really some very, very nice holiday decorations out there this year. It seems like every year it gets a little better. So thank you, I appreciate your efforts. I too would like to thank everyone who applied for the council vacancy and who took the time to speak with us. We did have lengthy interviews last week. And I would just like to say that I think I'm safe to say that we were all impressed with your sincerity and interest in our community. And I personally appreciate you taking the time and putting yourself out there. I know it's not an easy process to go through. And I would encourage all of you to either stay involved in our community or become involved in our community. One of the things I mentioned at that special meeting we had before we adjourned into the executive session for the interviews was I became aware that some communities have handled these situations a little bit different, and some have conducted the interviews out in the open so that the public is aware of the questions and answers and that they get an opportunity to hear from the applicants for vacancies. So I would like to just say that if we have other vacancies in the future, I'd like this to be discussed and see if we want to take that step in our city. I would echo what Mrs. Politsky mentioned about the AARP tax preparation. Across the whole region, they have less volunteers this year. So if this is a service you're interested in, you really need to make an appointment quickly. My condolences also to the Rivera family and also the Bindus family. Mrs. Julia Bindus passed away. And also to the parishioners of St. Thomas More on the passing of Father Uhas and Deacon Theo. Just thanking the residents who got up to speak this evening. Mr. Ardito, I think you have a good point about whether we need to have a boil alert or not, that would be helpful information to people. And Mr. Changari, your father is missed not only on his corner and at the council meetings where he participated, but I personally miss the sometimes lengthy conversations we had after the meetings. He was very passionate about the city and also very passionate in his views. And that's it. That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. Next up is Mrs. Balbier.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. Special thanks to all the candidates that applied and went through the process of being interviewed. It's not always that easy. I appreciate them taking the time and being interviewed. And a warm welcome to our new members on council. I'd also like to mention, I I didn't make it to the last couple meetings. I've been so busy. This year, it seemed like nobody wanted to cook, and our catering orders were crazy. So I've been so busy. I always say I should be real skinny for all the running around I do. But anyways, long story short here, I'd like to thank a very special resident who extended an invitation to her home. She's over there on Memphis Villas, kind of where the old Val Beers house is over there on Memphis Villas on the corner. Her name is Genevieve Fowler. She had a house decorating party, I'm gonna say that, like shortly before Christmas, and she invited council and she invited your neighbors and everything, and I happened just to attend. But I have to tell you how hard she worked putting up decorations. I think she had over 26 little trees. The entire house was decorated, outside and inside. Not only that, she prepared dozens and dozens and dozens of Martha Stewart quality cookies that I looked at for giveaway. She had 2 tables set up and she had hot chocolate, and I thought, wow, this is a resident going to all this work just to invite people and look at my, my house lighting. So I have to say thank you for that. That's someone very, very special to do something like that, and I truly appreciate that. I also appreciate Mr. Reaney on Rodone Road. Coming home late at night, his house is always decorated so nicely, and it's almost like a beacon for me when I'm coming home at night just to see, oh yeah, I'm here in Brooklyn. So I thank them very much, Mr. Reaney, and of course Genevieve. Yes, the St. Thomas More community lost 2 great people, Father John Uhas and Deacon Marty Theo. They were true servants of Christ in our parish here, Thomas More. I knew Father Uhas when he was a young seminarian. He had gone through the Air Force and then decided to go through the priesthood. And actually it was in 8th grade, and this is in Tremont. His parish was Our Lady of Mercy. And he would come to visit the children there, and I'll never forget his smile from cheek to cheek. He was so happy to be a priest. So I know Thomas More is going to miss him, and he was always willing to help neighboring churches that needed extra priests in the area. So that was always so nice about him. I hope he is having a grand celebration in heaven, and I'm sure he is. Also, I'd like to mention this coming up February, there's Coats for Kids again. They've done this in the fall, and if you remember, Mr. Bonaski was honored here not too long ago for all the work he does in our city. So he is getting together the Coats for Kids, and it's going to be held February 3rd. I've never seen anything so fabulous as what he puts on, and the coats that do come in are new, and the hats are new. There's gloves, mittens. So if you know of anyone, it doesn't have to be from the Brooklyn area. It can be anywhere in the neighboring cities that need coats or need any kind of clothing. So please, tell them about it, because it is a wonderful program. We provide a little bit of a lunch, so they not only can have lunch, pick out their coats, and then there's some other items that he has, like for the needy. So please keep that in mind. And that pretty much concludes my report. And Happy New Year once again to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Belbier. I too will hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas season and a Happy New Year. I spent a good part of a week and a half over in Pennsylvania with my family, and I very much enjoyed it, so I trust everyone did here as well. Also want to welcome Mr. Selhertz and of course Ms. Meg Ryan Shockey. Welcome to City Council. Look forward to working with you this year. And I also want to say that 2018 on Council is off to a great start. The budget is already done. And usually about this time, everyone's like, oh boy, here we go with the budget sessions again for this year, but they're already finished. So again, Mr. Schaefer, thank you for that. We're way ahead of the game as far as at least in the 6 years I've been on council, so thank you for that. And as already been mentioned, I also want to thank our service department and Mr. Verbo and your crew for keeping our roads clear. I don't know why it is that at holidays it decides to get real bad in snow. And so thank you for keeping them clear over Christmas and the New Year's holiday. Traveling across 422 on Christmas Eve, I was hoping for a Brooklyn truck to be in front of me. It was a little dicey driving over there. So thank you so much for all the work that you guys do. And you guys always do an excellent job. I hear that over and over again in the city, so thank you for that. I also want to read this poster. Come see Brooklyn's own Brandon Tansky. He's going to be playing with the School of Rock. And I mentioned this last time as well, but that will be on Saturday, June 13th at 11 a.m. And also again on Sunday, January 21st at 4 p.m. And that will take place at Slim and Chubby's at 12492 at Prospect Road. There in Strongsville, Ohio, 44149. And this is Mr. Tansky's son. I've seen him play on Mr. Tansky's cell phone. He's phenomenal. And he's in 10th grade. Right? 10th grade, he's a sophomore this year, and he's phenomenal. And so if you're interested in that, want to see some local musicians, go ahead out there. Again, that's on Saturday, January 13th, and Sunday, January 21st. And I'll reiterate this again, Mr. Changary, but your father is definitely missed. He was a great man, and I guess I forgot about those long conversations after council meeting. I was part of some of those too, as well as Mrs. Pucci, but he was definitely passionate about what he believed, and he certainly is missed here in the city. And then, of course, Mr. Sweeney, I already echoed what you said. Our service department does a great job. So with that, we will move on to the mayor's report. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. Happy 2018, everyone. I just first want to congratulate the two new council members, Ms. Ryan Shockey and Mr. Selhertz. I look forward to working with you this upcoming year. As you recall, at the last meeting, council approved the reappointment of Ms. Ryan Shockey on the Planning Commission. With her new appointment, I will be needing to replace that position on the Planning Commission. So if anybody is interested, I will be posting that tomorrow on the city's website, Facebook. So there'll be a vacancy, and the Planning Commission meets the first Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. I also like to thank Mike Changary for coming up here. I think that picture of the bench with your father's name on it was a no-brainer for the committee that chose the calendar pictures. So it's a beautiful bench, and we all remember him every time we pass that corner. And I want to also use this as a reminder, if you have any great pictures of the city of Brooklyn, please do not hesitate to send them in. We look through all these different pictures that are submitted by residents, and we try to pick the best ones that really kind of look at the image of our city. If you look at the various months, reminder of school letting out and or starting in September, so we usually use a school picture. We were missing a lot of winter photos, so if you have any pretty winter photos, that's what the couple photos that we're missing this year. So you could email my secretary, Jludwig at brooklynohio.gov, Joe Ludwig. I also want to thank Victor Ardito and Pat Sweeney for coming up here and your comments as well. I want to remind everyone that January 15th is Martin Luther King Day. We celebrate that holiday by closing City Hall, and it's a reminder that trash collection will be a day late and there will be no special pickup on Friday. Over the last week, I've been doing performance evaluations for my directors in City Hall, and it gives me the opportunity to kind of look back over the previous year to see what they've accomplished in their particular departments. And I was just so impressed by all the things that each one of these directors have done over the course of the last year. So I just kind of want to take this opportunity to thank them for their hard work. I have an incredible team helping me here in the city of Brooklyn, so thank you for all of your work. And lastly, I'd like to set up some meetings with council members. Again, as I met with the directors for the first staff meeting of the year, they set out their priorities and goals for this year, but I also would like to see what City Council would like to accomplish. So if you guys could email me a time and maybe we can sit down. If you have any personal goals for this year for the city, I'd like to be of assistance with that too. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Right. Thank you, Mayor. We will now move on with reports of directors, and we begin this evening with our Recreation Manager, Ms. McGinty.
Good evening. I just wanted to remind everybody, Friday night basketball starts this Friday, January 12th. If you haven't registered yet, you still can stop in and register, or you can go to www.activityreg.com, and the cost is $35. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. McGinty. Next up is our Finance Director, Mr. Schaefer.
Thank you. Good evening. I just have a very quick update that the 2017 financial package should be to council prior to the next meeting, January 22nd. And this financial package is going to look very similar to the old financial package. And I want to be working with you in 2018 to develop a more user-friendly financial package that balances the detail you need as well as the information you're really looking for. And I appreciate council's consideration for some dates. In 2018, we have the budget passed because we started the budget process for 2018 back in May. So I know you're going to be going through your organizational meeting this week, and I appreciate we will hopefully be following the same pattern as we did throughout 2017, and I'll be sending out a detail as far as what it is I'm requesting, but last year the third Mondays seemed to work pretty well for the budget work sessions, and so we had one in 17, we had one in May, June, September, and October on those third Mondays. Probably be proposing something very similar to that. And I also appreciate your consideration to schedule a meeting at the end of December for 18, so we're not scrambling as badly to get everybody together during the holidays to pass the final appropriations that are needed. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. We'll now move on with legislation. The first thing we have are 4 requests. The first one, I have a letter from Mr. Verba. It says, Dear Mayor and members of council, I hereby request authorization to enter an agreement with the K Company on a renewal contract for the refrigeration, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning systems at the John M. Coyne Recreation Center. The automatic renewal begins on January 15, 2018 and ends on January 14, 2019 for the contract cost of $26,868.
Move to authorize the agreement.
Second.
To approve, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Abstain.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Next, I have a letter dated January 3rd to Mayor Gallagher and the members of Brooklyn City Council. I am respectfully requesting permission to seek funding for a backup vehicle for the Brooklyn Senior Center by applying for the 2018 grant for the Enhanced Mobility for Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities Program, Section 5310, and that comes from Karen Frada, the Senior Center Coordinator.
Move to authorize the grant application.
Second.
To approve, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Next, to Mayor Catherine Gallagher, members of Brooklyn City Council. I am respectfully requesting permission to seek $2,500 in funding for new programs and activities for the John M. Coyne Recreation Center by applying for the 2018 Ohio Parks and Recreation Association Foundation Program Development Grant. There are no matching funds required, and that comes from Jen O'Bannon, the Program Coordinator at the Recreation Center.
Move to authorize the grant application.
Second.
To approve, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
To Mayor Catherine Gallagher and members of City Council, I am respectfully requesting permission to apply for state capital money to partially fund the proposed 2018 capital improvements for the John M. Coyne Recreation Center. Thank you, Maria McGinty, Manager, John M. Coyne Recreation Center.
Move to authorize the application.
Second.
To approve, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Ordinance 2017-86 is up for third reading and adoption, establishing a non-resident fee for key fob cards for use with the My Senior Center system at the Brooklyn Recreation Center, and these key fobs will be $12 annually. Any comments or questions? Okay.
Move to adopt.
Second.
To adopt, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Abstain.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
On second reading this evening is ordinance 2017-87, authorizing the capital improvement plan for 2018. Under new business this evening, ordinances 2018-1 and 2018-2. We're going to defer to voting on these until after executive session. We are going to endeavor to pass these by emergency this evening, but some council members had some questions that need to be asked in executive session. So once executive session is over this evening, we will come back in here and we will vote by emergency on these two ordinances. Next up is ordinance 2018-3 is on first reading, establishing the full-time position of clerk of council. Then ordinance 2018-4 is on first reading, but it will need to be amended this evening and also need to be passed by emergency. It reads, accepting the medical insurance renewal from Medical Mutual of Ohio, providing medical insurance coverage for eligible employees from December 1 to December 31st, 2018. And we need to change the date to January 1, 2018 to December 31st, 2018.
Move to amend in the title and also section 1 to change the dates as noted.
Second.
To amend, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
Any comments or questions about this?
Introduced by all, suspend the rules as amended.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
To adopt, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Abstain.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
At this time, I will make a motion in a second to go into executive session. As I mentioned a moment ago, we typically don't have any activity after the executive session, but we are going to come back in here and vote on ordinances 2018-1 and 2 after questions are answered in executive session. Any directors have anything else they'd like to add?
Move to go into executive session for the purpose relating to labor negotiations with the mayor, Director Butler, Director Schaefer, and Chief Milkey.
Second.
To adjourn to executive session, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky?
Yes.
2018-1, authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn, Ohio to enter into a contract with the Northern Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Patrol and Sergeant units for 2017. Any comments or questions?
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Kevin Tansky to leave.
Yeah, Mr. Tansky, for the record, Mr. Tansky had to leave due to illness.
To adopt, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Abstain.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2018-2, authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn, Ohio to enter into a contract with the Northern Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Patrol and Sergeant units for 2018 through 2020. Any comments or questions?
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
To adopt, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Abstain.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
May we recognize Mr. Van Kirk?
Yes.
I would just like to thank Mr. Butler for all his efforts in the negotiations and saved us quite a bit of money not having to hire outside counsel. I think your efforts are appreciated.
Any other comments or questions? Make the motion to adjourn?
Second.
To adjourn, Barb Politzky?
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk?
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki?
Yes.
Andy Selhertz?
Yes.
Kathy Pucci?
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer?
Yes.
Thank you.